Dying in games is usually something to be avoided. Same goes for real life. Although, in reality, none of us can avoid the eventual icy grip of the Reaper on our shoulder. But some games contain achievements and trophies that require you not only to die, but to die an often sarcastic number of times, to the point where it's less like they're making fun of your failures and more like they're demanding some kind of digital blood sacrifice. Prepare to meet your demise over and over and over as we look at 7 cruel achievements that made you die repeatedly. Beware spoilers for the following.
Isolation is a brilliant game where you're trapped on a spaceship with a honking great xenomorph that relentlessly pursues you and can pop up randomly at any time.
Keep going. Wow.
Look, when I say brilliant, I also mean f***ing terrifying. When you're creeping around, you're more highly strung than a violin about to bungee jump, constantly afraid of being caught by something that wants to skewer your insides and turn you into a shish kebab. In fact, the death animations are so intense and stress-inducing, you'll be avoiding them at all cost. So, of course, there's an achievement to be horribly killed by the alien 100 times. Perhaps in an effort to cause us all IRL stress-induced deaths, there is an achievement for this game called 100 times too many, to which we say, yeah, 100 times is too many times to make us deal with this nightmare. And whose fault is that, game? Cool, 2 down, 98 to go. This is not an achievement that many people will get by accident, mainly because of how much the game encourages you not to get got by the big terrifying glistening monster and lose a bunch of progress in the process. So for anyone wanting to unlock this reward, their best bet is to find a safe point the xenomorph spawns near and run around making a lot of noise like you're a human dinner bell. Repeat this process several dozen times, and you'll either eventually become so bored that you become immune to the death animations, or they'll become so burned into your retinas that you'll see them every time you try to sleep, giving you nightmares for the rest of your days. Still, you'll get a lovely reward of a bronze trophy on PlayStation or 5G on Xbox. 5G for all that. That's 0.05G per death. Total rip-off.
Help me! Please! Anyone! Please, no!
If you play as a camp counselor in Friday the 13th the game, you have one main goal. Don't get murdered by the big scary guy in the hockey mask. But one reward players can unlock requires you to fail at this task. Not once, not twice, but 100 times. That's nearly as many times as Jason has died in the movie franchise, film fans. In order to gain the achievement/trophy You Died a Lot, players must die 100 times to creepy Jason here. A task which is no mean feat, seeing as you need to get into 100 games and fail in every single one, probably much to the annoyance of your fellow players. Making this even harder, the servers shut down for the game in 2020, 3 years after release, due to licensing issues.
This means that getting into a game is even more arduous than it was previously, and if you're the lucky one randomly chosen to host a game for all the other players, you can't just quit out and search for a new game as soon as you've been killed off. At least not without pissing off a lot of other players, so often you end up stuck spectating the whole dang match. Don't these people know I have an achievement to get?
Help me!
The best way to achieve this reward nowadays is to have you or a friend host a game playing via peer-to-peer and private matchmaking. Then the people you're playing with must be willing to kill you 100 times, which can only be done by loading up 100 separate matches.
Anyone willing to do that for you is a friend for life. Although maybe keep an eye on any friend willing to do this to you that many times. Just saying.
you play as an adorable ginger cat who is so cute, it literally made me cry.
I love this game so much. Oh my god.
Judge away, I don't care. I'm emotionally mature enough to express how I feel.
Oh, so look at his little face.
Sadly, for cat fans, there's one trophy for which you must put Kitty in harm's way. Not once, but over 9 times. And I'll be honest, once is too many.
No!
The trophy in question is called No More Lives. Not only is this mentally scarring, but it's also pretty slow going. For example, there are no insta-death falls in this game. Kitty will only jump when it can definitely reach a landing spot. So the only somewhat easy way to dispose of one of Kitty's 9 cat lives is by getting swarmed by the creepy alien-like Zerks, which is definitely not the fastest or most pleasant way to go. Or you need to get Kitty spotted by a sentinel and wait around until, finally, the poor little furball is shot by the flying robot's electrical charge. Okay, just have to watch that happen 7 more times. Worth it?
This is not war. This is murder.
This is how you end a war, Chernobyl!
Most of these rewards do tell you exactly how many times you need to die in order to get them, and, you know, it's nice to get a heads up. But there's one achievement/trophy in Call of Duty World at War that doesn't give you a single clue. The description for the Chivo called Purple Heart just says, when staring into the face of adversity, show courage and persevere. Cool. Any chance you could be any more specific than that? No? Okay, cool. Time to find a guide, I guess. According to guides, what you apparently need for unlocking this achievement is to die around 20 times on a single level, which is a lot of times to die in one level. Now, this isn't completely impossible to get accidentally, as confirmed by user Dak Montana on achievement guide site True Achievements, who wrote, "I won this simply by being terrible at the game. Hooray! There's hope for us all!" However, if you're semi-okay at Call of Duty World at War and not aware of this achievement, there's a good chance you will miss out on it. If you're actively trying to unlock Purple Heart, however, you will need to watch your character dying over and over again, and wait several times while your checkpoint reloads, while you rack up the number of deaths required. Ah, there we go. Well, that was 15 minutes of my life I won't get back.
If there's one thing you're going to do in Hotline Miami, it's probably die a lot. This hectic top-down shooter has you running wild around buildings and turning mafia members into red goo, making a real mess that would be probably a bit too much if it weren't all in this lovely stylized pixel art. When you're the one who gets wasted though, it's all good, since there's a quick restart system allowing you to pick up not far off from where you last fell, in some tense trial and error style action. While you're guaranteed to die a lot as you play through the game, there's one award for players that is unattainable unless you're exceptionally chaotic or exceptionally patient. And that award is the achievement named Karma, which you can get if you die 1,000 times. I'm sorry, does that say 1,000? This achievement or trophy might be organically awarded to players who charge in and just get themselves killed over and over in the natural course of play. But 1,000 is a huge tally, so it is more likely awarded to players who set out to die 1,000 times by finding a good spawn point and purposefully getting themselves killed over and over. How many more times do I have to do this?
942.
Get me snacks.
All right.
Thanks.
Imagine if you took Portal, but instead of being able to shoot portals wherever you wanted, they were fixed in place. And instead of taking you from one portal to another, they took you from a brilliant white world into a terrifying black void. Well, that's Parallax. This indie Steam game's colour palette may be simple, but its puzzles are far from it. To get from the start to the end of each level, you must switch between worlds, turning portals around with switches and all sorts. You are on platforms floating in the void, but it's rare that you'll die, unless you're mucking about not looking where you're going, or testing to see how far your character can jump. It was worth a try. However, there is an achievement that you can get for dying lots of times, and it's a pretty cruel one. This is not just because you have to die 20 times, which players could just achieve by finding a spot and jumping off the side over and over. Ugh, tedious, but the real cruelty of this achievement is in the name. Sean Bean. Yes, Parallax can't help but make fun of an actor who keeps getting himself cast as characters that get spectacularly killed off, so they named their multiple death achievement in his honour. It's not his fault that casting directors realise he's very good at death scenes. I'm going to go and watch Sharp to cheer myself up. In my mind. Yes, Sharp. Be careful. Napoleon's not going to like that.
No, I found nothing. Thanks. Despite its name, 7 Days to Die isn't a game where you have to die within 7 days. What it actually is a zombie survival game that feels like someone took Minecraft, sucked all the joy out of it, made it super janky, and then just added more zombies. This seems fun. But death is obviously going to be a risk in a game called 7 Days to Die, so of course it has multiple achievements and trophies for dying, such as Bite the Dust for dying 5 times. Hey, at least that shows I killed twice as many as killed me. But it doesn't stop there. There's the trophy Knock 'em Dead for dying 25 times, as well as the one called Your Number's Up for dying 100 times. And worst of all, the one called Meet Your Maker, which requires you to die 500 times. I don't think I could play this game for 500 minutes, let alone die 500 times in it. One problem is that death risks players losing hard-earned resources, so if you're playing it properly, you really won't want to die this many times. The other problem is that even if you're purely playing to pop the achievement, like you're some kind of YouTuber making a list video, then it's still a huge pain in the arse. There are never any zombies near you when you spawn, so every time you die, you have to sprint back to wherever the nearest zombies are, which is hard when you're constantly running out of stamina. If you hate jogging as much as we do IRL though, you can walk up to the nearest cactus and get your face all up on its spiky bits. Death by cactus. Not how I predicted I'd die in the zombie apocalypse, but I'd always hoped. The thing is, it takes such a long time for the cactus to whittle down your health that this is still horrendously dull. Oh, finally! Another issue is that every time you die, the world has to load back in, and, well, 7 Days to Die doesn't always handle this with an excess of haste, so you might end up waiting ages between cactus visits. More like 7 days to load, am I right?
This is all time you could be spending dying by cactus. Yeah, back to it.
More snacks!
Nice one, Sharp. You got him right off his horse. Oh, sorry. Hello. Yes, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and can think of other examples of achievements in games that required you to die over and over and over and over and over and really give you time to reflect on dying over and over and over, then put them in the comments so that other people can enjoy your suggestions, and who knows, maybe we'll make a commenter edition. And if you really, really like this and want to go the optional extra mile of supporting the work we do, then there is a link to our Patreon on screen now to join the OX Supporters Club. There's a cool Discord. And also check out these other videos that are on screen now. We think they're pretty good. All right, now, if you don't mind, I've got an appointment with, well, I think you know.